To love on God and begin to thank Him for His grace, you know what's going to happen? That's a form of humility.
So I attended this gathering at church last night called Impact. It's a monthly event for aspiring entrepreneurs, professionals aiming to grow, and small business owners wanting to scale. And we are now on the third of 8 sessions. I actually almost didn't make it. I thought it was scheduled for today, but it had been moved to yesterday. And if one of our group members hadn't messaged me to ask if I was going, I probably wouldn't have shown up. But that small nudge felt like God's hand, making sure I didn't miss out on something He knew I needed to hear. And so we talked about steps of faith, and something someone shared really stuck with me. They brought up the parting of the Red Sea and how the miracle didn't happen until someone took the first step into the water. And that hit deep because just this morning I was reading Joshua 3, and I was reminded of a similar moment. In that chapter, the Israelites were about to cross the Jordan River and enter the Promised Land. The river was overflowing, raging, and impassable, but God gave a very specific instruction. When the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant step into the river, the waters will stop. Not before, only after they step in. So they had to trust and obey first, and when they did, the water stopped flowing and the people crossed on dry land. And that whole picture of faith, of taking the first step before you see the outcome, resonated with me so much. Some of you know that I moved to Canada a couple of years ago to study. I was hoping for a fresh start because at that time I felt really lost and unsure of what my life was supposed to look like. Uh, I stayed there for nearly 2.5 years, and I'm so grateful for everything that season taught me. This January, I came back to the Philippines for what was supposed to be just a vacation. But if you've been following my vlogs, you'll know that a few unexpected things happened. Long story short, I've been trying to readjust to life here in the Philippines, and that's when I started baking cookies. It began as something small, something that reminded me of all the cool cookie shops I saw in Canada. And I started experimenting, baking, and eventually I found myself selling them. And now I'm trying to build this into a real business. And it's honestly been a challenging journey. Putting your brand out there, finding customers, facing slow weeks, it's really a roller coaster. There are days I wonder if I made the right choice, days where I ask God if this is really going to work, and days where the fear of the unknown feels so loud. But lately, something else has been echoing louder. Joshua 1. Before Joshua even got to the river, God kept saying to him over and over, be strong and courageous. Not just once, but multiple times. And I've been holding on to that because Joshua had every reason to feel overwhelmed. He was stepping into unknown territory. He was taking over leadership from Moses. He didn't know how everything would unfold, but God didn't give him the full picture. He gave him a command: be strong and courageous. Trust me and walk forward anyway. And I feel like that's what God is telling me too. Even when I don't have all the answers, even when it feels like the river hasn't parted yet. Sometimes we think success or prosperity only happens in places that look impressive from the outside, like big cities, first world countries, or careers with stable titles and incomes. And I'll be honest, that's something I've wrestled with deeply. For a long time, I believed that Canada was the only place where I could truly thrive. And that's part of what's made this season so confusing because I've been standing at the crossroads, wondering where I'm really meant to be. But God's been shifting that mindset. He's been reminding me that your prosperous place isn't about geography, it's about being where He wants you. That's where growth happens, that's where peace lives, and that's where purpose begins to unfold. I don't say this to compare anyone's journey or dismiss anyone's choices. I'm truly thankful for my time in Canada. It's part of my story, but I'm also starting to believe that maybe there is something purposeful about me being here too, something I wouldn't have discovered unless I stayed. So, if you're also standing in front of your own Jordan River, feeling unsure or afraid, I just want to remind you, take the step and God will meet you there. And maybe that step feels scary. Maybe you're unsure of what's next, but don't forget, you never know what God is preparing on the other side. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come until you move, until we move. So step in, even if the water's still rushing, because that just might be the beginning of your miracle.